It's Tuesday, so Tuesday means tags. I've been tagged by Sandy Lender. Sandy says reads for the thoughtful words tag. This is a tag encouraged to give us positivity for thinking about reading. It's designed to remind us of the good books, the wonderful books we've read in the past, and the characters, the feelings associated with those books. My name is Jim. This is my channel, Books, Reading and Stuff. I will put the prompts in the description below, so if you want to do this tag, you can copy and paste them, or you can have a look at Sandy's original tag. I'll link to her original tag as well. The first word is catalyst. The catalyst, or inciting incident, gets the story moving. What's a book with a great hook or a memorable beginning? For this, I would say The Martian by Andy Weir. It starts with an explosion and him being left isolated on Mars, and that's from where the story begins. It's a great beginning. Prompt number 2, foundation. A foundation or fundamental book. This could be a children's story or a YA novel from your past. What's a book that you consider the introduction of your reading life? For me, there will be a few. I don't think there's one book, but one of the books I would select would be The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. I think a lot of us read this as children. It's Christian fantasy, but it brought the idea of magic and the idea of going through a wardrobe and coming up into a fantastic land. And it's the images have stayed with me for over 50 years. Prompt number 3, nostalgia. We often enjoy things that bring back memories. What's a book that inspired you to text an old friend, to look up an old TV show online, or write a note to a past teacher? This book gave me a lot of nostalgia. Cider with Roadies by Stuart Maconie. Stuart Maconie was a journalist with the New Musical Express, the NME, and he went around Britain interviewing bands. He's interviewed Morrissey. The first gig he ever saw was the Beatles when he was a small child with his mother. But it's a fascinating book. When I was in my early 20s, I used to spend most of my spare time and money going to gigs, seeing lots of bands. So this brings back nostalgia for that time and good times. Prompt number 4, quick. In today's world, we're often in a hurry. What's a short story or novella you've enjoyed that made such an impression on you that you can't get it out of your mind? The first one that sprung to mind was Metamorphosis by Kafka. It's here in the Essential Kafka. Gregor Samsa wakes up and finds himself to be this insect, and he worries about how he's going to go to work, and the people around him are fretting because he can't go to work. It's a very bizarre story, and I read it 30 years ago, I think, the first time, and it stayed with me. And I've just started The Little Prince, which is another short story, and it seems very good. I know a lot of people love this book, and from the beginning I think it's going to be a great book. 5, nature. We can't always be consumed by technology. What's a book, fiction or non-fiction, that inspired you with a message or characters to go outside? Did the book have animals for characters, for companions? Did the characters spend time camping or journeying through an outdoor world? Tell us. Oh, this is non-fiction. This is The Walker's Guide to the Outdoors and Clues and Signs by Tristan Gooley. It's full of things like how to navigate your way through the forest, and just reading it makes me want to go outside and follow forest paths, look for the moss on trees and other signs where the grass is laying down to which way the wind blows, and also it's a treasure trove of information about the outdoors. 6, melancholy. I've got the prompts here. Having a sense of melancholy is not necessarily a bad thing. It can give one time to relax and reflect. What's a book that broke your heart and made you think deep thoughts? For this, I would think melancholy. I think of Thomas Hardy. Return of the Native has its moments, so does Tessa d'Aubervilles, but I think I'd go with The Mayor of Casterbridge. It starts with Michael Henchard getting drunk and selling his wife to a sailor. Michael Henchard reforms and becomes mayor, but in the end his dying wish is to be forgotten. Thomas Hardy is very good at pulling at the heartstrings. The penultimate word is penultimate. What's your favourite or best second to last book in a trilogy or series? Why was it so good? I don't read a lot of series. I prefer to read by many different authors, but I did recently read A Gathering of Shadows, which I really enjoyed, by V.E. Schwab. This is the third in a Dark Shade of Magic trilogy. The idea behind the trilogy is there are 4 parallel Londons, and characters can go from one London. Certain characters, Antari, who are special magicians, can go from one London to another. And most of the action takes place in Red London, where there's still magic. Grey London is like our own. And A Gathering of Shadows starts with a wonderful set piece where Lila, who's the main female protagonist, captures a pirate ship by a very skillful means. And I really enjoyed the book. 8. Restorative. We can all use something that brings us back to reading. What's a book, fiction or non-fiction, that pulled you out of a reading slump or lit a fire in your soul? Not so much a reading slump, but reading Great Expectations in the 2000s brought me back to Dickens. At school, we'd read Tale of Two Cities, and that had put me off Dickens, I thought, for life. But then a reading club I was in Worcester in England decided to choose Great Expectations, and my first thought was, oh no, and I read it and I loved it. And now I'm reading all of Dickens' novels at the moment. I'm reading this one, Martin Chuzzlewit, which is not as good as Great Expectations in my opinion, but I'm 3/4 of the way through it. I should have it finished by the end of November. And yeah, I love Dickens now, thanks to reading Great Expectations. So that was my restorative Dickens. And there is a bonus prompt, gift. We're coming up to Christmas, I guess. What's a book you would give to a dear friend as a birthday or Christmas present, and why? I don't usually give books as presents because I think most readers want to choose their own books. I did give my wife this book on her birthday last February. This is The Eighth Life by Nino Haratoshvili. This is the Georgian version. She is a Georgian author, but the book was originally written in German, surprisingly. I think a gift would be something like Calvin and Hobbes. Who doesn't like Calvin and Hobbes? I'd love it if somebody gave me some more of these as gifts. Okay, so that was the tag. Who do I tag? I'll tag some people who like playing with words. Margaret Pinard, she's a writer, like Sandy Lender is a writer. Roz, scallywandling about the books. Greg, at another bibliophile reads. And Aaron Facer. And if you like the prompt, please feel free to do this. Go and have a look at Sandy's original and enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a like. That will help me with the YouTube algorithm, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.